Councilman, this is a little different from call for projects. This is a very technical. The way we consult with council offices is that we discuss the list that is existing on the project. All the projects that were previously discussed with council offices are already included in this list. So we felt that it's appropriate to add some projects to the list and go on with it, go forward with it.
And is this on your website?
On the LADOT's website?
Yes.
The list of the project?
Yes.
No, it's not.
Can you put that on the list, especially when we're approving this going forward, so that
Good idea.
and the different council districts can check it out?
Absolutely.
And, of course, specifically, Paul Backstrom, I want to make sure our constituents know which ones are in our district, and we can separate them out and also do a more follow-up for their information. Very good. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Any other questions about specific projects on the list?
People are looking at the list. I obviously like the first one I saw, Century Boulevard and Sepulveda Boulevard, which is a traffic signal modification. And that's the one in my district. There's a second one. That's the Entrada Avenue pedestrian improvement, which is a delight, obviously, for our pedestrians. But as you can see, various council districts have several of them on it, and I'm not going to go through the others there. But I'm glad you put it on your website, and we'll put ours on our website.
All right.
Mr. Laban.
Yeah, just a question at Fletcher and Riverside, is that for both, for Riverside or for Fletcher?
The remark indicates that both left side for both directions.
So all four ways?
Yes.
All four ways, okay. Very good.
Great. Thank you for the report, and we do have a motion. Yeah, please.
I was just stunned that there were 19 westbound left turn traffic accidents at Rinaldi and Sepulveda.
Yeah.
Isn't that like a huge number?
In 10 years.
In 3 years.
This is 10 years.
It says 3 years.
Oh, I'm sorry.
In the last
You
3 years.
You look into the other.
And those are just the ones that are reported, huh?
Yeah, I know, you could do anything, we're a team.
Let me look at it. Yeah, it is a large number, yes, I agree with that.
Yeah, well, I hope we're able to fix it no matter what happens with this grant.
Well, the first location on the list has 499 accidents in the last 10 years.
499.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
So that's like 50, once every week.
Where is that?
It's the 48th Street between Normandy and city limits west of Brescia.
Well, nobody should drive there.
I sure.
Well, they should drive safely there.
They shouldn't go through there at all.
Well, I know, that's. Is that okay? I send this to him? That won't be cold? Okay, thank you very much.
Are we okay, Mr. Alarcon? Yeah. Okay, so moved. Thank you very much for the report, too. Item number 11.
Item number 11 is the CAO report relative to DOT's proposed fiscal year 10-11 fee increases for special services.
Good afternoon. Could you give us a quick summary on that?
Sure. Good afternoon, council members. Janice Chang, Office of the CAO. Before you is a report that proposes fee adjustments. This is an annual fee adjustment. The council adopted policy to adjust fees for special services annually based on salary changes and the adopted cost allocation plan rate adopted by the controller in the city. In these rates include taxi cab vehicle permits, private ambulance vehicle permits, and other types of permits, vehicle decals, driver permits, badges, fingerprinting, and taxi cab rule books. And
So this is full cost recovery, if I'm not mistaken, is that right?
yes, the fees are adjusted annually based on full cost recovery.
And is it true that if we didn't move forward with this, we would have a shortfall of $263,000 for fiscal year 2010-11?
That is correct.
And if I could, the last time we raised them were 2 years ago, is that correct, 2008?
The last time the fees were actually adopted and the new fees went into effect was actually February 2009.
2009. But prior to this, we hadn't done it since 91.
most of the fees had not been increased since around 1991, 1992.
But this is the goal for full cost recovery, and if we want to stay within that reality, we should move forward with this?
Yes.
Okay. Colleagues?
I'm good.
So moved. Thank you so much.
The
Item
President-
number 12, Labange Han, motion.
This is a Labange Han motion requesting the city attorney prepare an ordinance banning vehicles with for sale signs that are parked on city streets.
Would somebody describe that to us real quickly, what the motion is, before Mr. Labange reacts to it? Come on up. Well, for people's information, this is requesting the city attorney prepare an ordinance banning vehicles with for sale signs parking on city streets. Who's here to talk about that?
I can talk about it.
Oh, great. Mr. Nagel,
Yes, we're in the
your name
process.
for the record.
Yes, Mike Nagel, Deputy City Attorney for the City of Los Angeles, Department of Transportation. We're in the process now of looking at state law. State law does allow us to actually ban for sale signs, but we do have to make, under case law, Burkow versus City of Los Angeles, where we were enjoined from enforcing an old ordinance that we had regarding this. We're required to make findings and have a purpose for the law. We have to establish with evidence that we actually need to ban for sale signs on certain streets. State law allows us to ban either certain streets or the entire city. I don't know that we would have the evidentiary support to ban them throughout the city. I think it'd be a real tough sell to any court. Now, I understand the problem is on Los Feliz Boulevard, so what we need in order to pass that ordinance, and for me to prepare an ordinance, is your staff, Mr. Labange, to go out and get these citizens who are having trouble parking, get them in here at a public hearing to testify that it's necessary, that they've had trouble parking, that they can't always park because these for sale signs are lined across the street, get the business and people and the merchants in here to testify that their customers cannot park because these for sale signs are lined up along Los Feliz Boulevard at the business intersections. Also, anecdotal evidence from the residents that there's vandalism, there are other things that are happening as a result of these signs being parked there. That way, then we have the evidence, the court will find, based on state law, that we are okay. That's what we need right now. I think we can probably all get that together. I would assume your staff and working with the Department of Transportation and LAPD can probably do that in January. Then I can come back.
I think I'll do it in 2 weeks, and next time you're available, I'll get the community here.
Let me give you the questions for the record.
Okay, for the record.
Labange, be happy to hear your comments. I understand that we could implement an ordinance prohibiting for sale signs on parked cars by streets or citywide, correct? Is that correct?
That is correct. It's,
Okay, but the city attorney has concerns about a citywide ban. Why is that?
Because it really, based on the Burkow versus City of Los Angeles decision, which actually affects the City of Los Angeles, a federal court found that under our old ordinance, we hadn't made findings that we needed to do that on the particular streets.
Right.
And I don't think that we would ever, the work that would be required to ban it citywide would be extraordinary. It would, the staff time.
And that leads to my next question. If we were to implement an ordinance by street, we would have to make findings that there is some problem to be
Yes.
corrected.
Bring in photographs, of those.
Okay, and in that same context, and we would make those findings through public testimony here in the committee. This would still require DOT staff to post signs on streets, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, depending on how many of these areas we identify, we could see a significant drain on scarce resources, correct?
That is correct.
And the last question is, and there is a chance we could be sued over this or simply displace the problem by sending cars to park in other areas.
That is always a possibility.
Okay, now, the recommendations, Mr. Labange, that have been suggested to me, that the best way to proceed would be to initiate this proposal as a pilot program for Los Feliz Boulevard. If we could agree on that, then we could continue the matter to January 12th invite the affected residents of Los Feliz Boulevard to our next meeting to provide public testimony so the city attorney can make the findings, direct DOT and city attorney to initiate a pilot project on Los Feliz, and direct the city attorney to implement the ordinance. And so that's why we're suggesting to continue it, but Mr. Labange, if January 12th is too late,
Well, I'm just saying, we've been working on this for years, and your former city attorney who sat here felt that he could try to achieve some good, and I have had no success. So I'm anxious, as a representative of the people, to tell you the evidence is there. This street is one of the busiest streets in Los Angeles. This street is a de facto state highway. This street supplements what is the Highway 2, which was supposed to be the Beverly Hills-Glendale Freeway connector, when that was deleted from the state highway plan in 1972. So people from outside the community come and park their cars on weekends because traffic is bumper to bumper, and people then look at the cars. It does displace parking for the local residents, and it is obstructionist for those who drive this busy corridor between Vermont Avenue and through Riverside Drive, because it impacts their ability to move down the road. Mr. Fisher, who was eloquently complimented by our chair recently, led the charge years ago, as I suggested, to give extra hours in the afternoon and the evening to restrict parking, that people gave up their parking to allow the pass of what is a de facto freeway. So there is evidence there, and I would feel comfortable to go forward, but if you would be more comfortable, we could schedule this at convenience at the next meeting or whenever. I'll get the people to testify. I'll bring Exhibit A, B, and C and show you, so you feel comfortable, and we could have a pilot program that we would post, that no for sale signs between Vermont Avenue and the city limits of Glendale, because Glendale primarily, they found from DMV investigators, has a group of entrepreneurs who come into Los Angeles to take advantage of the heavy traffic, and they come in, do their little thing. So we could go all the way. I'll check with Mr. Garcetti, because we'll either stop at the Los Angeles River or we'll stop at the city limits of Glendale.
Those are all of the things that you just said would be legitimate findings.
Right. And I'm legitimate?
Not legitimate. Too legit.
I didn't hear that, Counselor.
Oh, yes, you are.
Okay, so, but I will ask the public to come so that you get it on the record, and we will provide pictures for that. Also, Mike Gatto, the newly elected assemblyman, has been very active to try to get state help. But if we could have a pilot program, I think it would serve the city well. Because this is the access point to much of central Los Angeles to Griffith Park. And any additional distractions, it does slow down the traffic. Thank you.
so is January 12th okay, Mr. Labange?
Well, when's our next meeting?
December 8th.
Yeah, let me see if I get the people here December 8th. You know, we want action. We've been waiting too long. The former city attorney who sat here.
With the exhibits A, B, and C.
You got it. Okay, good.
Do it.
Lisa? Okay.
Fine. Okay, is that okay? Well, you have a question.
I just have a question. Why would it be a pilot project? Why do we need to establish it? If it's just a specific area, it's like a preferential parking district, why would, we're not...
Under state law, you
Not
can
a
actually just do it for
project,
Los
it's
Feliz
actual-
Boulevard. You
National
can,
project.
yeah, you can actually do it just as a local ordinance. You don't
So I
really need a
don't-
pilot program.
I don't think it needs to be a pilot project. With regard to the evidence, what level of evidence, what level of findings do we have to make?
Well, you have to establish testimony.
How much?
Things that Mr. Labange just said, but from the residents, bring a group of residents that are
I understand, but how much?
How much?
photographs, it's all of these things. It's
Like if it's
enough that a
three
court would-
constituents, 12 constituents,
I would try to get a good representative. I can't give you a specific number.
what would you like to see?
I'd like to see a whole room full of people, just as a city attorney
I'm
who's
dead
handled
serious,
litigation.
and I appreciate,
Absolutely.
I appreciate
I'd like to see the
that
same number of
answer.
people that were here.
And
the
Mr.
taxi
Labange,
cab.
I would only say that
I'd like to see a lot of residents
yeah,
here. I'd
the
like to
more people you bring, the less possibility you get a challenge. And
Correct.
And you may want to consider how much time it takes to generate that much activity, so.
Yeah, but I'm disappointed the city attorney's office that it took this long, and as a representative duly elected by the people of that area, I'm their representative. So even my words should be received by you, but we'll get evidence there, You know, I'm not going to pack a room. I'm going to get the representatives of the neighborhood association, neighborhood council, the business district, the block, and say, let's go with this. Because we waited far too long. And I usually don't get excited about anything, and I'm taking a tone towards you, but it's the person who wants that there.
I beg to differ. He gets excited about all kinds of stuff.
No, there's state law supports what you want to do.
Got it.
And we can do it.
Thanks a lot. That's a good counsel.
Okay, so we will continue this to the 8th of December, and we'll talk specifically about Los Feliz.
Thank you.
Okay. So moved, so acted. Here we go. Any public comment about anything? Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
So moved. Thank you all. Have a
Thank you
great
all.
afternoon. I appreciate you waiting as